Hello everybody, welcome to my first vlog. Oh, I'm so excited because today I'm going to Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and I cannot wait to document this journey with you guys. Some of you may not know, I live in Northwest Arkansas, so Eureka Springs is not that far away. It is 7:04 in the morning right now, and I have an hour-long drive on my hands. But hopefully it'll be worth it because I am so excited to go back to this town. I haven't been here in a whole year, and I've never been here during the holiday season. So hopefully this will be a great journey for you guys to see and for you to totally see how incredible Eureka Springs is as a town and why it would be awesome to visit Eureka Springs. So enough wasting time. Let's get to Eureka Springs so we can find a decent parking spot and let's get going. Well, I'm here in Eureka Springs now and it looks amazing. I haven't seen this town in a long time and it looks amazing. Like, I'm parked right here. You can see part of downtown. And I do apologize, my windows are a little fogged up because it's kind of cold outside and it's humid, and while I was on my way here, the windows started fogging up. Like, look at that. It was a lot worse though. When I was driving, I had to pull over a few times just to wipe it off of my windshield because it just wouldn't come off with the defrost for some reason. So I literally had to pull over, wipe off my windows, and then there was like some dog trying to get into my car, like just went up against my door and was looking at me, and then got off my car, which was weird. But anyways, I'm here. I pay for my parking spot, and now let's get outside. So I am outside now and I am on the streets of Eureka Springs. I am on Main Street right now. It looks amazing right now, and you know, there's not much people here right now, so it's really awesome to be here this early, to be here to enjoy the scenery of the town. So I checked the weather just recently and it is 30 degrees right now, so it's pretty cold, but it's not too bad. I mean, I don't have clothes on and I'm pretty good with the cold weather, so it feels great outside actually. So a lot of stores here are not going to open for another couple of hours, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to head over to the Eureka Springs coffee house for some coffee because I didn't have any coffee this morning, and I might try one of their holiday specials. I'm not sure what they are, but I'm really in the mood for like a peppermint kind of latte, so let's go ahead and see what they have. All right, so I got my coffee, and I wanted to film it inside where it'd be quieter, but they've been playing some copyrighted Christmas music, so unfortunately I couldn't film in there. But I got me a peppermint mocha, and from a picture of what it looks like on the inside, it just looks amazing and it looks delicious. I can't wait to try this. I haven't tried a peppermint mocha at this coffee house, but we'll just see how it tastes. It's actually pretty good. You know, it's not too sweet, but it's not like very strong either. It's kind of like a mix. That's actually very good. Yeah, but it is getting a little cold here, so I'm gonna go ahead and go inside, relax a little bit. I'm gonna have to turn this camera off for a bit so that I don't get a copyright strike for the copyrighted Christmas music they're playing in there. So I'm gonna go ahead, go inside, enjoy this coffee, and I'll be right back out in the streets to document this journey. All right, so I'm back outside now. I'm all wired up and everything, and I actually want you guys to take a look at this cool thing. Look at that. It's the Rainbow Staircase. It's one of the most iconic Eureka Springs landmarks, and it looks amazing. Like, somebody painted all of this on the stairs, and it looks amazing. A lot of people like to take pictures on that staircase, and I think I might get a picture of myself on that staircase. I don't know. It depends on, you know, how I can do it, you know, like, because I don't have anybody else with me, so I really don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna head over to Spring Street now, but I'm not gonna go there by crossing that street over there because, as you can see, you know, cars come and there's no crosswalk. So what we're gonna do is, I kind of figured out like a year ago, like sort of like a secret passageway up to Spring Street without having to walk up that hill up there and not having to cross traffic. So you'll see these wooden stairs on the sidewalk here. You just climb up these stairs. Not bad, they're rickety old wooden stairs. And now you're on top here. You can see Spring Street right here. It looks amazing right now. Oh, and look at that. That's like an old vending machine from a very long time ago. Like, it has that old Pepsi logos and everything. It's so weird how vandalized it is now. But anyways, and then you just come up the stairs and you cross this bridge. Honestly, this bridge is the most, like, one that I fear, because I don't really ever fear bridges, but this one I fear the most because it's so old and wooden and it's over Main Street. So I I reluctantly walk across the bridge, hoping that it doesn't break. And I'm on Spring Street now, and it looks gorgeous. Look at Basin Spring Park. All the Christmas stuff that's up there. That's amazing. Especially this Christmas tree. I mean, look at this. Got a letter to Santa. And now we're walking up on Spring Street further. There's a lot of shops here, as you can see. Everybody's getting ready to open here soon. And some of these window displays look interesting. Like, a lot of places here won't open till like 10 in the morning, maybe noon since it's Saturday right now. But it's really interesting to see all this. And for a moment while I'm here, take a look at this view. It looks amazing. You can see the trees up there and the whole Spring Street this way. And of course there's a Basin Park Hotel. Looks amazing today. Looks amazing. Oh yeah, and this is Basin Park Hotel, which is rumored to be one of the most haunted locations in Eureka Springs. Of course, second to like the Crescent Hotel, which we'll probably get to later. And of course, there's all these shops below it. You know, thing about opening a business is location, 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 and they definitely got their locations right. And now we're further up Spring Street, and yeah, it just looks gorgeous right now. And look at all these wreaths that they've hung up on the telephone poles. It looks lovely. Honestly, this town kind of gives you like a mini New Orleans feel, almost. Speaking of which, there's another hotel on Spring Street called the New Orleans Hotel, which is neat if you're like into jazz or just the New Orleans style of things. If you like it, definitely look at this hotel. And honestly, I remember when I was sitting in the New Orleans Hotel, they have an interesting waiting room, because like they have like a book on like Eureka Springs history that they just let anybody read. And I thought, while we wait for like the shops to open and such, and as well as for the buses to open, because the buses also don't open until like 10 o'clock, I thought that we could get a look at that. So this is one of the books they have, and it basically shows you like what they have in Eureka Springs and what they have to offer here, and the things that they do. And they do a lot. This is not a small book. There's a lot of pages and a lot of things that they do here. So we can get into it a little bit. And they even got like nice pictures of the town, and it looks great. And of course you got the table of contents here, and as you can see, lots of different pages here. Oh, and yes, Eureka Springs is very famous for like its Victorian homes. They got like pictures and everything. Sometimes they do home tours. Like today they're doing like a Christmas home tour, which I unfortunately won't be able to go to. And then they have pictures and various texts of different things. There's Basin Park Hotel, and of course there's the Crescent Hotel down here. Talks about them both. The 1905 Basin Park Hotel, the 1886 Crescent Hotel, tells you a little bit about, you know, its history and its background, and it just looks interesting. Tells you all about the different businesses that are in Eureka Springs, like this cafe right here. And of course it tells you the nature they have. They have a lot of nature around, and it's pretty neat, all the nature they have around. Unfortunately, not a lot of it is open like right now, like not in the morning, and some of them are closed in the wintertime. But it's pretty neat to look at. It's got pictures of these like beautiful springs and these beautiful creeks that they have. It's just neat to look at. And I do apologize in advance of the lighting here. It's the only place where I could film in the hotel lobby without getting too much background noise. And of course I'm not a hotel guest, so I'm not allowed in a lot of places, but hopefully this is good enough to show you guys how amazing this town is. There's more pictures of the nature. You definitely can Google these, but you can also like look in places like this, because these have amazing pictures that they put in their books. You may be able to find a book all of this in like one of the shops, but I'm not entirely sure. I've never seen it, but who knows? Maybe my luck will change and I will find one. And if I'm really lucky, I'll be able to buy it. And then there's the dam nearby. Looks amazing. And they got like full pictures of the nature. This is Eureka Springs forest during the autumn, and it looks amazing. And of course there's various rivers nearby, and it looks really peaceful. Oh, and there's a section of the historic loop, which is neat to see because there's so much history in this little town going back to the 19th century, and it's really fascinating how much they preserve their local history and how accessible it is to literally anybody who goes here, and how dead set they are to preserve it. And honestly, I admire towns who do that. Oh, look at this picture during the winter time in the snow. Eureka Springs, Arkansas doesn't get a lot of snow every year, but when it does snow, it just looks absolutely stunning. It's amazing. Oh, look at this house covered in the snow. That's amazing. I love the style of these homes. I honestly wouldn't mind living in a house that looks exactly like this. Oh, more snow pictures. Wow, they really want to sell the winter resort that Eureka Springs can be sometimes. Even though they don't get a lot of snow every year, it definitely looks gorgeous during the winter time. And the autumn time too. I mean, look at this here. Yeah, that's better lighting. Look at that. That's amazing. And these stairs. It's almost like European, like German stairs like you see in like Germany, like the hilly parts of Germany. And that's kind of at least what it reminds me of. It's amazing. Oh, and the events, festivals, and parades. They got a lot of events and festivals going on here. They got the Eureka Springs May Festival of the Arts, and they got like sports things going on. Like this is like a triathlon where they go swimming and running and biking. I do apologize that the focus is being a little weird. But like swimming, running, and biking, 0.5 miles, 13 miles through a difficult course within Lake Leatherwood Park. That's amazing. And if I haven't convinced you Eureka Springs, Arkansas is a very gay-friendly town, well, here's a picture right here that says it all. Oh, and they got opera in the Ozarks. Honestly, I love opera. Unpopular opinion, I know. And honestly, I kind of want to see this because I did not know that they did this. And then again, this book was published in 2012, so this is a 10-year-old book, but like the 2011 season showcased Die Fledermans, La Notte de Figaro, Little Women, and a version of Pirates Penzance. That's awesome. Oh, and it talks about the month of December in Eureka Springs. It's awesome. And then there's like the Eureka Springs Hat Festival like that woman's wearing. That's interesting. Oh, honestly, I hope they're still doing this because honestly, I kind of want to see this. It's like in September, they do like the annual Eureka Springs Antique Auto Festival weekend where like vintage vehicles are on display and they kind of go on like a parade. Everybody dresses like historical fashion, like this woman right here. And wow, that looks amazing, honestly. I wouldn't mind going to this. I'll definitely put this on my bucket list. And of course, sometimes at Basin Spring Park, they have concerts and it just looks amazing, especially at night. That's awesome. Now, honestly, this is the event that intrigues me the most, and hopefully they're still doing this, where in each October, Eureka Springs Historical Museum hosts like a Voices from Eureka's Silent City at the Eureka Springs Cemetery. Basically, it says here, volunteers don vintage garb and take on the persona of a deceased resident, most with an actual gravesite within the grounds. The tours start at dusk, and the actors and actresses share a first-person perspective stories amid candlelight. With hundreds of gravestones in the cemetery, new characters appear each year. The stories vary widely from those of hanged murderers to scorned lovers. That's awesome. And of course, their Halloween festivities are, well, this picture says everything, how their Halloween festivities are. It looks awesome, honestly. And of course, here they talk about things like car shows and things like that. They got neat car shows. And of course, they talk about the towns in the surrounding area. Like this is actually Berryville, Arkansas, which I think is about like maybe 15 minutes away. And it's also not a bad town either. And of course, they talk about Holiday Island, which is just north of Eureka Springs, and it looks amazing as well. Oh my gosh, look at these pictures though. They look amazing. This picture was taken in Green Forest, Arkansas, and it looks amazing. Like, look at these rocks and those trees and those hills. It's awesome. It looks amazing. And they got the little Golden Gate Bridge, which I actually didn't know they had. It's in the northern Arkansas region, constructed in 1949. Cost $107,000. That looks awesome. Again, I apologize of the lighting in here. It's not the greatest and not the greatest for focus on here. And the points of interest. These are just amazing pictures that they chose for this book. I gotta tell them. More autumn pictures, more fall colors. I think that is St. Elizabeth's Catholic Church. It definitely looks beautiful, and it's really nice. And you can see downtown back there, where you can see like right back here. Looks awesome. And they got more pictures of inside the church. It is a beautiful church, though. I will give them that. It is a pretty beautiful church. And then of course there's Thorn Crown Chapel, which is one of the few glass churches that are in Arkansas, and it looks amazing. I mean, honestly, I would love to show that to you guys, but I don't think I should risk it because, you know, there's a lot of weddings and stuff that happen, and I wouldn't want to disturb that. But it looks amazing, and it's definitely something I'll definitely put on my bucket list to see for next time. And then of course there's a Eureka Springs Courthouse, which I actually parked right next to, and it's pretty beautiful. It's pretty neat. And then there's like a wildlife refuge. It's pretty neat. And this is also a pretty artistic city, so you'll see various forms of art, like the rainbow staircase that I showed you guys earlier. You'll see various types of art around this whole town. But yeah, that's what this book contains, and it's in the New Orleans hotel lobby if you ever want to see it for yourself whenever you visit here. It's pretty neat, and it's really neat to learn about the history of the town. Honestly, definitely give this a read whenever you have to wait for a store to open or something. You just sit in the lobby, grab this from under the TV, and, you know, just look at it. That's awesome. This is why you didn't get your presents from Santa this year, kids. So I'm back outside now. I do apologize for all the noise. There's a lot of city cleaners out right now, but it is 9:30 in the morning right now. So a lot of them won't open for another half hour or so. So I figured we could go up on Spring Street and explore a little bit more of the town. All right, so we go a little bit further up on Spring Street after a neat little waiting area right by the New Orleans Hotel. Gets a little hilly. As you can see, we have more Victorian style architecture going on up here, and it looks great. It looks absolutely gorgeous. And of course, we got some more shops up here, which are pretty neat. Bohemian Apotheca, Unconventional Storehouse, and other things like that. It's pretty neat. And of course, there's the First Baptist Penn Church, which is one of the few historical churches here in town. And then you get a little further on Spring Street and you see more places like this and more things up here. There's the Eureka Springs Post Office. Some more views down there. That is the Elmwood House. Established since 1886, if you can see what I'm seeing there. No vacancies, so it's booked. It usually is at this time of year, so if you definitely want to visit Eureka Springs, definitely book in advance, because a lot of places are booked like 2-3 months in advance. Sometimes I hear things booked like 6 months in advance, and I know the Crescent Hotel is especially popular, so if you want to stay in those places, you need to book in like way in advance. So just a little heads up. And a little bit further on Spring Street, it gets a little bit less in terms of buildings and people, but it's still neat to look at. Like, there's a lot more buildings here and some shops. There's like a little rest area right over there, and of course they're decorated for holidays. It's really nice. And there's some more like cafes and other shops. Mojo's Records. I love record stores. That would be an interesting place to visit. And of course, we got more buildings down here. We got like a Palace Hotel over there. There's a lot of hotels within the town, and it's really interesting to see how much tourism is in this town. Like, look at all these buildings. Look how beautiful they look. I mean, it's just gorgeous. And I do apologize, the lighting is a little bit weird because like it's morning, the sun is just rising, and it just looks amazing though. Like, look at this architectural style. Like, this is a town that loves to preserve its history. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's just gorgeous. We got more rainbows. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn around so I don't get too lost and I don't have to walk up like really, really large hills, because I mean, look at all these hills. Like, they're really large to walk up. But the further you get on Spring Street and everything, you see more these beautiful houses and these beautiful buildings, and it's just absolutely gorgeous, especially at this time of year when it's like autumn and winter time. And even in the spring and summertime, you know, they got flower gardens, especially in Basin Spring Park, which I showed you earlier. And it just looks absolutely beautiful. So now that we're off Spring Street for a while, I thought I'd show you guys a little bit of Center Street, which is, sorry about that, just a little bit of ways off of Spring Street. It just goes off of Spring Street right by Basin Park Hotel. So I thought I'd show you guys a little bit of Center Street. So basically this is the start of Center Street. It's pretty nice. I know there is a hotel down here somewhere. I'm just not entirely sure where it went. It's a pretty historic hotel, but I'm not entirely sure where it went. I thought it was on Center Street. Maybe I passed it and didn't know it or something. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, so the hotel I'm looking for is not on Center Street. I'm on the wrong street, but that's okay. We're just gonna go back to Main Street and we'll just explore a little bit further down the road. More rainbow stairs. So now we're exploring further down Main Street. There's the coffee house that we were drinking coffee at earlier. It's very neat. Definitely give that place a look. It's very nice. And be sure to watch your step when you're walking the streets because, you know, there's stairs and sudden drops at times where you probably wouldn't think there are. There's a lot of like hills and there's a lot of like hillsides that they build all these buildings on. Look at this though. Look at that. And then there's the rainbow staircase I showed you guys earlier. And if I have not convinced you guys that this is a gay-friendly city, there's that for you. But yeah, this is a very neat town here, and this is a very neat street. It's also part of the State Highway 23 system in Arkansas, so it's a relatively busy street, which I do apologize how noisy it is, but it's really neat. Oh, and here's the hotel I wanted to show you guys, the Grand Central Hotel. I actually saw a news report video that they were doing a long time ago on the town, and especially the tunnels of the town. Yes, Eureka Springs actually has a tunnel system underneath the town. There's actually a little backstory to it. I'll link you guys the video in the description below so you guys can watch it. They did a news report on it. A local news station did it, and it is very interesting. And they did a little news report at this hotel right behind me, where the first floor that was built, it was actually underneath in where the tunnels are now. They used to build this on like a creek side, and then it just flooded a lot, and so they decided to just raise the town up. And now a lot of places that were built before they rose up, their first floors are now basements, and there's like access to tunnel systems underneath this road. So it's really neat to look at that. And they do offer tunnel tours. They're very expensive, so I'm not doing that today, but it's really neat to see the history of Eureka Springs, especially in the tunnel system. It's kind of neat to know that a small town has a tunnel system. It is funny though, because like I usually hear of places that have like tunnels in like New York City and London, but never in a small town of like 2,000 people like Eureka Springs. It's a really neat history to study, and if you definitely come to this town, you'll definitely learn more about it. Little notice here in case any of you smoke. But yeah, look at the views of this street on the bridge. It's amazing. Like there's one side right here facing south, and there's another view facing north, and it just looks great. It's great for pictures. So now we get to the south part of the main street, and it is starting to get a little noisy because now it's past 10 o'clock now, and all the shops are opening back up. But like you can see here, the Eureka Springs courthouse, and then there's just a bunch of shops on this part here, and it just looks awesome. So yeah, I didn't film much of this part of the street because I know there's a lot of people coming over here, and I didn't want to accidentally get anybody like in my shot, so you know, to protect people's privacy and things. I did get some people in there, but they, you know, they smiled and waved at me like they didn't really care. So I think I'm pretty much in the clear on that. But it's beautiful outside right now, and all these storefronts and everything, they're open and they're beautiful, they're gorgeous, and it just looks amazing out here today. There's also another neat thing that I want to show you guys. Up there is like a neat rock formation that is accessible through those stairs, so I thought we would go up there and take a look. And it has a neat penthouse here where you can just sit and relax if you want, and it already has a neat view of Spring Street, and of course the Basin Park right underneath, and that tree and these buildings and all these trees here as well. It looks amazing. And now, up further, look at this. This is pretty neat. It's part of the nature that's within the city grounds, as you can see. A lot of people have taken some really nice pictures here, and it's really neat. There's like a little thing right there. I'm not sure where that leads to, but it's pretty neat. Oh, and I never noticed this, but there's another set of stairs that takes right up here on the other side of the park. So there's more than one entrance up here. And of course, here's some examples of the city art that you see throughout the town. And now back downstairs. So now that most of the shops are open, we're gonna start with the T-Rex store. So when you first walk into the store, you see all these t-shirts here. They really have some interesting graphic t-shirts that they sell, including this shirt right here, where it has Eureka Springs Stranger Things style on it. And then there's this, which is pretty neat. Then there's all these stickers and yo-yos right here that you can look at. And then more shirts right here. And then there's all these toys, like a lot of them are actually antique toys from like, I don't know, a lot of them are from like the early 2000s, but there's also some from like the 90s or something like that. And look, there's all these candies here. And oh wow, Harry Potter, the jelly beans things, the one that can taste like earwax, that's cool. More toys and games and such, although these are more for like little kids. And then there's more shirts here, and there's stuffed toys there. Oh, and that train was neat. I never saw that before. That's a neat addition to the store. I actually never seen that before, so it's probably new. That looks pretty cool. And there's all these board games here. They got Monopoly, they got Star Wars themed games, they got Yahtzee. It's pretty neat. And then there's this area of the store where there's a bunch of like NES games and such. They sell those here, like Super Mario Brothers 3, and they also have Atari games, which these days are pretty expensive, but they still sell those there. Like, look at all these NES games that they have. That's cool. And then they got the Atari games there. And of course, there's the old Nintendo Entertainment System. And then there's the old Atari. And all the cased NES games. Then there's all these books here. They got all kinds of books here. And then they got like vintage comic books of all different kinds. They sort them in alphabetical order, which is interesting. Personally, I'm not a comic book fan, but this is pretty interesting. And then you got more books here and more toys. The store has it all. Alright, so the next shop I'm going to be going to is one called Granny's Place. And it's interesting because this store was established on the same area as the Bank of Eureka Springs used to be. I don't know if they've shut down or if they are operating, somewhere else in the town. But they used to be here. The old sign is still there. And it's really interesting piece of history that you could see at this store. And going inside, we'll get to see more. So when you first walk into the store, you see all these clothes. It's mainly for women, but they do sell some unisex stuff as well. They just have them scattered all across the store on racks and on the walls and everything. It's pretty neat to look at. And they got all these like quote books. I only say quote unquote books because they're like safes, which is pretty neat. And then they got all these like little chimes, talismans, I think that's what they're called. And they got all these different symbols on them, and they got these different art patterns, which is pretty neat. And they got all these different herbs and tea blends that you can buy, as well as all these little knitted pieces of work that you can purchase as well, like these little hats and scarves and bags. And they got these singing bowls, which are actually really cool to use. And then they got some jewelry, and they got like crystal bracelets, and they got like little statues and such, which are interesting. They're mostly of mythical creatures. And they got various incenses, which if you like incense, it's really good to look at. And they got like some Judaica as well. They got like these Hanukkahs. And they got pendulums here, which is interesting. And this actually is the picture that the owner showed me of the store, which is neat. And I got these sun catchers as well. They got really good art here. And a fancy clock. And they got all these tapestries just laying around on the store. I'm not sure if these are for sale or not, but it definitely brings out the store. And they got all these toys at the front, which is pretty interesting. They got a bunch of like puzzles and stuff, which is pretty neat if your kids are into that stuff. Right by that big window right there. And then they got these handmade mugs just sitting there, and more tapestries. And they got these candles. And they got more handmade pottery, mostly mugs. Now these are pretty neat. I kind of like the style of these. I wouldn't mind buying one of these in the future. And they got these handmade soaps, and all these chimes, and all these smudge sticks. That's one interesting thing about Eureka Springs you'll notice, because Eureka Springs is a town that's really popular with all the ghost tours and the haunted locations, and it kind of brings like a new age vibe, so you'll see a lot of those kind of stores here. And it's interesting to see like a very small town in Arkansas with like 2,000 people have all of these in just like one little area. It's kind of neat. Now our next stop on our little shopping journey through the streets of downtown Eureka Springs is Magic City Crystals. This is such a gorgeous store. I got so much footage for it. It's amazing. Oh, and just a word of warning when you're visiting here, the areas where the tunnels are, some of them have gotten a little loose over the years, so like I step on this one, you hear that? Yeah, it's definitely not very stable. The tunnel is underneath here and it's not very stable. So that's just a word of warning when you visit the town. And now we're going into Eureka's Nut House. So when you first get in here, you see all these different types of soda bottles in like these old style soda bottles. Like there's various types of root beer, there's Jarritos mango soda, there's a lot of things here. There's also different types of nuts and candies that you can choose from. Like there's Brazil nuts, peanuts, cherry fruit sours, candy blocks, and all kinds of stuff. And then there's a lot of chips and such. And then there's more nuts here. Got chocolate cashews, limoncello almonds, and many more. You got all these baked goodies that they have in these little paper bags, like maple bourbon, cinnamon pecan pie, coconut kiss, which actually sounds interesting, underground Eureka, so some like signature Eureka Spring stuff. The cinnamon pecan though looks interesting. And then they got more nuts, and then they got all these different weird types of popcorn, like monster mix, white cheddar, Memphis mix, raspberries and cream, toffee, pistachio, pizza popcorn, Italian mix, strawberries and cream, caramel apple, garlic parmesan, cherry cheesecake, and of course they got their display stuff. And they got a bunch of jelly beans of different flavors. And they got all these drinks in here. And I don't like Coke, but they got these interesting Cokes in these vintage bottles, which are neat. And they got a bunch of different types of cotton candy, like caramel apple, the classic, and pickle cotton candy. Alright, so enough exploring downtown for a moment. I'm actually at a trolley stop right now, and I am waiting for the trolley to come through and pick me up so that we can go up and see the Crescent Hotel and other places as well. It is a very long walk, and it is a very like hilly area, so I'm definitely going to board the trolley to get up there. And it's more convenient than taking your car because once you get your car away from here, you could lose your parking spot, and then you kind of have to struggle finding a place to park. So yeah, I definitely would take advantage of the trolley system getting around here. So now all I have to do is wait. Oh, and if you're going to the Crescent Hotel, be sure that you're taking the red route trolleys, because the red route's the one that takes you to the Crescent Hotel and things like that. I'll leave a link in the description down below, you know, the whole Eureka Springs transit system explained, so that you can be more informed whenever you visit here. So definitely keep that in mind when you ride the trolleys here in town. And of course, you know, if all else fails and you can't get a trolley ride at a trolley stop, you can always go to the trolley station, which is down there. All trolleys go there, so you can just board your correct route, and then you can just get on from there. Yeah, it is kind of taking a long time, so I'm gonna go ahead and head to that trolley station up there and wait for my trolley. So I made it on the trolley, and I am heading up toward the Crescent Hotel, and it will be a very interesting part of my vlog to show. It is rumored to be one of the most haunted locations in the whole world, and Eureka Springs actually gets a lot of tourism for the Crescent Hotel, and the Crescent Hotel has a whole history behind it. You definitely can look it up and find out more history about it. There's a lot of history that used to be like an alternative cancer center, and now it is rumored that it is inhabited by a lot of ghosts in that hotel now, so it'll be an interesting thing to show. So now I am in the Crescent Hotel lobby, and it's really interesting because though not only are they decorated for the holidays, but they also got a lot of like things on display that you guys could look at, and they got a really neat history here. It's definitely a must visit. Even if you're not going to be a guest here, you're always welcome to the lobby. You're always welcome to look around and browse around, and it's a really neat thing to see. And for those who are interested in learning more about the Crescent Hotel story, you always can read this right here. You can just pause the video right here and you can read about it. It's really interesting how this all got together. And I also want to show you guys real quick their annual Christmas forest. Now, it will look better at night, trust me. I'm not going to be here at night, but as you can see, like at night, this will all look really cool. Like there's lights everywhere, and of course there's these glowy things here, and you got lights, and you got that area, which I bet would look amazing at night. And it's really neat to walk on this path and really just, you know, breathe the air and live in the moment and enjoy the natural views around. All right, so I'm gonna conclude my journey here. It is 1:30 afternoon now. I spent 5.5 hours in Eureka Springs today, and it's an amazing town, and you should definitely come visit here. It's definitely a great little town, and I had a lot of fun today. So I'm just gonna go fill up my car, and then we're gonna head back home. So I made it home safe. Thank you so much for watching my vlog. I truly appreciate your support. And if you like this video, give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And this is Cameron from Around the World with Cameron, and thanks for watching.